Started your own business, wicked, 2 years, one of those was on fire. But what's some of the things that you see every time someone's coming to your new client that you've got going on? What's some of the mistakes that people are making kind of across the board?
They set up a business completely wrong. They think they need a limited company day one.
Right.
They try and muscle some accounts together themselves and miss major, points.
I'd never do that.
Why do they think? I know they think it's cheaper. It's cheaper just to do it myself. I know, but it really isn't. I don't think I found one that actually, it was cheaper them doing it themselves. It wasn't.
100%.
They're willing to pay it in the end, but it's just a shame.
Yeah, and it ends up costing so much time and effort. And small business started 6 years ago. Going into finishing up our 6th year, we absolutely did that. And in fact, we were laughing about it the other day. My business partner Tony is just much smarter than me, and every year because our year actually ends at the end of November. So every year, his Christmas present for the nice holiday that we have was to redo the accounts. Every single year was to redo all of the accounts over 2 weeks, something he had never done beforehand and something he was not necessarily trained to do. And did that cause problems? Yeah, but we didn't actually. And you know what? One of the reasons I think from our side, why would anyone do that? That's mental. Like I wouldn't do my own plumbing. Definitely wouldn't do my own electrics. That would be dangerous. Wouldn't do my own car mechanic thing because I'd die. But I think it's trust. It's trust. It's
trust. And what you're scared of?
All the money disappearing, I guess.
Yeah, it's that control element. You think, if I get that, because if you send it all to your accountant, you've not got a grip with what actually is happening. But do you actually know what's happening per month? Do you know your profits per month?
Not unless you've got a good accountancy system and everything's set up correctly and you're doing it right. So today we do, but not for an awful long time. I'd be like, can we have last quarter's numbers? Oh, look where we did. Which is mental now that everything's on the top system. How can you run a business like that?
What would you have changed then, now that you know there's a better way? Would you have gone back and changed your advice to people?
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of times if I'm part of any group where it's a new business starting or something like that, I'll tell them like the first expenditure before you get the swanky office that you want to spend money on, work from home and give that money to an accountant and they will pay for your office. They will pay for your office. And even just heartache and time. Like I say, I still don't understand what accrual is. It's the joke between me and my accountancy team, because I'm always like, whoa. Now I get it. I do get it. I have been explained it 75 times, but it's literally someone else's issue to deal with, right? It's literally someone else's thing, and they can. And I've put together a brilliant process. I say I've put together. I have nothing to do with it. We have a brilliant process where I'm able to get the information I need, which is quite high level. Because otherwise I get a little lost in things, but I need certain things high level. Then I've got my internal team making sure it's being cooked, checked, and it's not, nothing's cooked. And also then the accountants making sure everything's signed off with the accreditation. Yeah. I wish we'd had that from day one, because it put us in all kinds of problems, which we're still today, like working out how to finish the last little bits of these issues out, that we've had good accountants to fix them. So I tell every business, like an accountant and not a financial director, you won't have the money or the job work for them day one. But you do have to work for an accountant, though. You do.
Yeah, you do. And as soon as I have a conversation with somebody, I do think the ones we've taken on, they do trust from day one, and that is fantastic. That feels so good. And if they've watched my videos and stuff, they'll know how passionate I am, and the team that we've built, me and Charlotte, because of our values, it just has a knock-on effect. So I do know that even though we're only 2 years in, we are going places, and that's dead exciting. So it's either your businesses are with us and growing, or you're not, and that's fine.
Yeah. But I think a lot of the problem comes from that communication thing you're talking about, Francesca, as well. Like, why did we put all our numbers together? Because I didn't think I could go to my accountant and be like, can you put all the numbers together, right? So for a good 2 or 3 years, we were doing it internally and handing that over, and we didn't get communication to be like, hey, man, thanks. But that's terrible, and you shouldn't do it, because, and if they turned around and said, for this many shekels, we'll do all that for you and we'll do it right, I would have been like, done. Good.
Can I say something? So I did some zero training this morning, and in the end, I just actually said, you know what? Why don't you just pay that bit extra and we'll do it? And he looked at me because then he added on Stripe feed and I don't think he realised that if you've got website sale, it's very fiddly. And he looked at me and he went, and his business partner was nodding. And you've got to be careful with your money, and I agree with that. But I said to him, what's the worst that's going to happen? If we take over it, we'll be checking on profits. And if you're not happy with something in the future, have a chat with me. I will not be funny about anything. And he was like, okay. So I put the new proposal up just before our chat, really. And I said to Charlotte, I said, we may as well just do the bookkeeping, because as long as he knows it's right and up to date.
Right. Or how many accountants in the past have been to me like, make sure it's all book kept correctly.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyone know a bookkeeper?
Well, that's hard to find as well, and it's that trust. But it's hard to, if you find a subcontract bookkeeper, they've got loads on. I don't think they're that passionate about that one business, then, are they? It's a hard one.
Exactly, and remembering where you put that thing up against this nominal, that nominal, like that other company that's flipped around because they think of it like that, right?
Yeah. So I bet there are some right good. There's loads of bookkeeping businesses that's what they do, and they'll have loads of business on board. Again, it's that trust element.
It really is. Really is. So you mentioned you're doing some training earlier, but as fun and exciting as zero training is, I feel like I say, I followed you for a long time, and I love how often you're putting up just going to the gym, just coming out of the gym, just worked out, and it certainly feels like exercise, healthy living's relatively big part of your life.
Massive, yeah.
Where did that start for you?
I did it from age 11, and this is quite sad, really, at 11 years old. So I was I've got two sisters, there's three of us. I was the plumper middle child, so I'm middle child syndrome. And at age 11, which is quite sad, and I don't know what triggered it, but they were always tall and slimmer than me. They're only a little bit tall, but they were always like the skinnier ones. And I like my food, put it that way. And at 11, I think I must have had a comment or two. And I remember losing a stone when I was 11. And I started running and my workout videos, because it was videos then, of my mum's that she used to do. So I'd say to my mum, I'm going to do my workout video. And I'd tell her what to make me for tea. So don't give me that many. And I'd count calories. And I think, bloody hell, when I look back, I was only 11. So I think it's been nurtured in me. And then I remember running, and our first long distance running at school, and I did rubbish, right? And I remember thinking, right, next year I'm going to improve on that. And I did. I spent time running and losing weight and getting healthier. And then I did better. And I think it's just that stemmed in me. But gym-wise, I only picked up the gym in 2016 when my kids were older.
Wow.
I always trained at home, my little home weights with Davina McCall, a bit of taekwondo or whatever it is, Taibo, that guy that used to do Taibo. That in the living room. I couldn't even do a full press up in 2016. Wow. Now I can do nose to floor probably 15. Because obviously that's gym work and going heavier with weights and stuff.
Sure.
But it is a long process.
It is, and I think probably I walked into a gym the same sort of for the first time ever, and I didn't do any of the outside of gym exercise at all. But probably around the same time as you, like about 2016, and only because my awesome business partner and we had a podcast, and he bet me to lose weight, and he was going to put on weight, and then we were both going to have a fight. We've never thrown a punch. We've never thrown a punch between us, but it was a good idea. Yeah. And over 6 months, I managed to lose like 50 pounds just to win this bet. And then, put 45 of them back on straight away. But it opened this like world of like the gym isn't a scary, horrendous place full of meatheads who are going to be horrible to me. Actually, the gym's a lovely community full of people who are all on different versions of the same journey. Everyone's trying to get from A to B, and then they're either been doing it for years and love it, or they're just getting into it. And I'm amazed at how many problems I solve in my head, which are kind of like unsolvable because I'm too stressed. Go and spend an hour picking stuff up and putting it down again. And I come out of it, and while I'm, I get out of the shower, and I'm like, oh, ding, there's the answer there. And bing, there's the answer there. Out of nowhere. I never thought that the benefits of like regular exercise would be more up here than like all this kind of stuff. And
It's so true. It's mentally improved my life. I know it has.
Mm.
I did it up till I was, so obviously I had 2 pregnancies. I did it as soon as I could, my workout DVDs at home as soon as I could. I remember having my daughter in a car seat and in front of me while I did my workout. And it was probably 20 minutes long, but mentally, and I've always wanted to look after myself. And some people might think, oh, it's vain and whatnot, but I just think doesn't matter. That's the bit that people worry about, that look, going in the gym and you're looking in the mirror a little bit. Because that's cringe, isn't it? But so trying to get your form right, you have to look in the mirror, but you feel a bit of an idiot, don't you? Like, oh, I'm looking 100%. At myself.
And one of the awesome things I found about the gym as well, like I say, when I went, I was about 4 or 5 stone heavier than this now.
Wow.
And like, you know, wheezing in there and like couldn't pick up anything. So I'm a real big guy picking up small weights. Sure. But I loved, like, I'm chatty, right? So I just started talking to people and being like, hey, man, you clearly like know what you're doing. Can you show me, right?
Yeah.
And I definitely thought that these were the kind of people, like in my head, I just built up a stigma about the gym. These are the kind of people who are going to take the piss and bully me or be horrible in some way straight up. Whereas actually it's just a bunch of people who'd be like, love to come here, arms back, tuck your things in, whatever it was. And it's it is. It's so nice. It's so good. And I'm not sure why the mental side is so good. I think it might be from the little wins. I think it might be that like 3 times a week I win. Like I win because I say that I'm going to do something and I get it done, even though most times when I'm like, oh, maybe not today. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Like, oh, I'll work out the weekend.
Oh, I like that. I can get like that. But it's like you've achieved something before you've even started your day if you go early. And if you told yourself you're going to do it in the evening, you achieve it. It is an achievement.
And those little wins, like I try and celebrate little wins at work and don't think to necessarily celebrate wins at home because like home is a win. Home's awesome. Hang out with my wife. It's good fun all the time.
Yeah.
But there's still a win there and you know, I come back up from my little sheddy thing and get a like kudos, attaboy from the wife. You know, she's like, well done for going. I'm like, oh wow, that's another little tick on the like, you know, we did it together kind of thing.
Yeah, that's so nice.